All right, welcome back. Today we are going to be fixing the Joy-Con in my left Joy-Con specifically. I've had these Joy-Cons since launch, so this whole switch I've had since launch day, and I am just now getting stick drift on them, and we can kind of see that by moving this, it's not reactive, and eventually it will start kind of just, not working. So, like that. Today we're actually going to only be fixing the left one because the right one isn't having any issues, and it's the only one that's having problems. So it's all I'm going to take apart, and it's all we really need to see because odds are is the left one is what most people have broken. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to do this one take. That's my goal here. One take, minimal editing, in and out, 20 minutes, like quarantine. To do this, we need I think a Y00 and like one Phillips head and like a spudger, and that's it. The whole thing should take less than 5 minutes to do. The goal is less than 5 minutes in total, and I'm already rambling on. So we've got just a replacement pack I got off Amazon, just some no-name stuff. For 25 bucks, you could get a Hall Effect kit from a company called Gilly Kit. Name is blanking, but in reality, I don't play my Switch in handheld mode all that often to justify getting those. If I did, by all means, I'd get them. But I mostly play docked with a Pro controller, so having just a standard replacement is more than enough for me. So we're going to take off the back cover, battery comes out, mid-frame, Joy-Con, put them all, or joystick, put it all back together. Very simple. I have a replacement shell, as you can very clearly see. So do as I say, not as I do with screw bits. Otherwise, mostly it's just these four that are different. These are going to be Y00s should you have a not aftermarket shell on your Switch. This is one of those things where I go into it saying, like, I'm going to do this in under 5 minutes and make a really short video, and then I'm going to ramble, and I'm not going to have anything planned ahead of time, and I'm going to wind up with a much longer thing. So all four screws are out. Because this is aftermarket, it's going to come apart a little easier than if it was the stock one, but I'll take a spudger. I'm going to go in right behind the rail. I'll pry up ever so slightly, and it should pop away like that. And I can just pull it away. Being very careful to not pull apart because it is still attached by the rail cables. So we're just going to pull this apart with some space in between it. We're just going to leave it at that. The next thing to come out is the battery. There's this little thing right here. This black one here. We're going to just lift up with the spudger and our fingers, because in reality, it's not that fragile. And then the battery should just lift away. There's no adhesive, other than maybe some minor stuff. Again, I have had these Joy-Cons a long time. I don't know if they've revised them or not. There are then these four screws that we can take out. They're even smaller. These are going to be Phillips heads. They're going to be the same as what these are. These are Phillips 00s, but these are the ones that are actually built into the frame. So we're going to take these four out, doing our best to keep them in the same order because their heights do differ. Then the mid-frame can pull out along with the trigger cable. Just gonna set that off to the side. We'll pop that out just to be safe here. Pull that out, take it out. I lost some plastic. So we have this here for our, this will be the minus button. We'll pop this one out. So we just lift up this little latch. If you had tweezers, this would be a lot easier. I broke my tweezers a while ago, so I don't have them anymore, unfortunately. You know what? I also lied. These two short ones in the top right and bottom left should stay in. They keep the motherboard in place. So we're gonna put those back in real quick so I don't pull anything out. Then we will lift up our joystick cable. We'll take out the two screws holding the joystick. I keep wanting to say Joy-Con. Pop these out. like so. The whole Joy-Con can lift away, and then because we unlatched it, we can just pull out, whole joystick comes out. And you can see these are basically one-to-one replacements. We have the new one and the old one. Obviously this is covered in some filth and stuff, but they are effectively the same. I doubt they're true OEMs, but it doesn't really matter. I don't use my Joy-Con enough to really care, so long as this isn't like absolute garbage. All right, we're just gonna fold the cable out of the way. We'll push the joystick back through, like so. I'm trying to be very careful because this is still attached by things, but we'll hold this in place. Screw in one screw, screw in the other. Even out the tension a little bit. It still moves, which is good. Okay. And now we just reconnect everything. So start with the joystick cable, which would be a lot easier if I had tweezers. But I have tiny pliers. Don't do this. Use tweezers. It's connector. Okay, push that down. Make sure all of our latches are still up. You can plug in the minus button. Slot that in. Push the latch down. Come over with the trigger. Push these in. Make sure our trigger goes back in before we forget that. Okay. Drop over the mid frame. Make sure everything kind of sits as it should. We can drop in these two screws. Then we take our battery. We're just gonna drop it in with its absolutely minimal adhesive. We can plug it back in. Fold everything back over, making sure the cables aren't being pinched. Make sure the rail is in place, and everything kind of just goes back together. Should still turn on. Yep. Before we screw it in, because it's always good practice to test, let's grab the switch. See? And it still works. So let's actually quickly put these screws back in. The downside of these aftermarket kits is they require these screws, but the screws are not magnetic. They're not good. I've had this kit on my Joy-Con since, oh man, maybe like half a year after the Switch launched. I've had these green things for a very, very long time. So I wonder if they've gotten better as the Switch has gotten even more popular over the last 6.5 years. Cheap aftermarket case at 6 years old. So, our joystick works again, which is good, which is all we wanted to do here. You can come in, everything works. I can go up, down, left, and right. And it also works exactly as it should. So, like I said, quick. This one for me, obviously because I have a different case, required literally only one screwdriver bit. Otherwise, it requires one more screwdriver bit if you have a OEM untouched Joy-Con. So 5 minutes. I think these were, I don't know, these were like $12 for the 4 of them. So you could repair up to 4 Joy-Cons or keep one and repair it 4 times, or any combination of that in between. So yeah, it was about 5 minutes. With maybe some cuts here and there, so maybe a little longer of a video, but it was about 5 minutes to do all of this in total between taking apart the Joy-Con and replacing it. So thank you for watching. very short one. I've been meaning to do this for a few weeks, but I just haven't touched it since I beat Violet a couple months ago. So, or since Zelda. So, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, obviously let me know, and I or somebody else can always answer the questions. That's the whole point of them. But always, yeah. Thanks for watching, and come by next time.